Hello everyone and welcome back. I'm gonna pre-apologize for the audio quality. Bit of a weird recording setup today. But besides that, I went through my Artfight profile while I was sick because I was yearning for Artfight at a time where I couldn't really get out of bed. And I saw so many old characters that I really wanted to redraw. And I was already doing a bunch of world building stuff for Wisteria anyways. So, that's exactly what I did. First up, Kohaku. Originally named Ko. I thought that was just a little bit short, so I lengthened it. I mostly chose it because I wanted her to sound strong. It's probably going to be pretty obvious very quickly, but I did age her up about 40 years, and that's just because all of my characters feel very like 20s to 30s, and I wanted to expand my OC portfolio a little bit farther than that. Also, she didn't have a personality before, and I desperately needed to give her one. So, essentially, Kohaku has gone from, like, a spunky, adventuring, lightning-wielding, blacksmith adjacent to the Lightning Forge blacksmith of the Lovac Guild. She's kinda stern, kinda stubborn, she very much a hard worker. This has been her only job for like 40 years, and she keeps accidentally losing apprentices because she is a bit of a bitch sometimes. She doesn't fully mean to be, but she doesn't really have time to slow down because of how many orders she gets by being the primary blacksmith for an entire guild. I should also mention all of the characters I'm going to mention today are on my Artfight page. As I'm speaking about this right now, they've probably already been there for 24 hours, so just saying. Next up is Klio. So the main character for one of the stories within Wisteria is Fenworth. Fenworth is a seamstress, we'll say. Klio is kind of like the opposite side of that, where Fenworth is independent, lives off in the middle of nowhere, takes select clients. Klio is essentially the primary seamstress for the entirety of the Lovac Guild. She signed an exclusive contract, so she's never gonna run out of work. Love that job security. She tends to do more, I want to say, like, she leans more into the solar punk of it all. The clean, the crisp, the put together, as you'll see in her design. Her original character isn't even from Artfight. I was just looking through old art to find other references for some of these characters, and I just found that it must have been my junior year of high school, like 3 years ago now. Oh my god. I just drew this in an I drew her original reference in an afternoon, and I meant to make her a character. And I found that again, like, a week and a half ago, and I went, I'm gonna make her a character now. She's gonna be a character now. So, she is a seamstress. She's also part of a religious organization, and I'm using cult in the looser Roman way, where it's really just a hidden religious organization. Okay, and we're getting to the rough ones. Specifically rough one, which is okay, Kohaku's original design didn't have a face, and I still think that's better than what the fuck happened to Cure, whatever his name is. Oh my god, he was ugly. Look at it. I fucked up perspective so bad, it looks like he has one arm. That's how bad it is. So I did unironically lean into that with this design, because I think it's really funny. I am going to change the color of the prosthetic. I might make the prosthetic color changing in general. But the biggest thing was I gave him a normal fucking name. I don't know where the fuck Cure came from, but I don't associate with it anymore. So, here we go. And I also gave him melanin. He's still a vampire, and he's changed from being a vampire prince of no lore to me folding him into Wisteria to become an archivist. He used to be, when he was like a normal human person, the top adventurer of the Fairy Guild. But now that he's a vampire, he can't really do adventuring anymore, because that, requires, like, being out in the sun and working with people, and they also don't need adventures like that anymore. So he career change, became an archivist, so he could, be inside all the time. He hates it. But it is his job, and he does sometimes still get field work, because they need someone to measure the rifts and to measure magic in area, and he's like pretty hard to kill, so they just kind of throw him out there by himself. And now we've gotten into more of the redesign instead of the full rework. Mordecai, my beloved, he was rough. He was so rough. You look at him, first of all, he's all leg. His reference, look at that, all leg. No body, all leg, and I don't understand how I thought that used to look good. It doesn't. But Mordecai folds in really well with Kieran, and that's because I've upgraded Mordecai from being Demon Prince to Moon God. I've been doing a lot of reworking behind the scenes. It's been rough. It's been rough back here, but part of that is you'll see in Kieran's that he has like a moon symbol on his back. That's technically his bite mark thingy. That's where Kai tapped him. That's where he got him. And that's how he turned him into a vampire, is he infused him with, he infused Kieran with his own magic. And so Kieran is now basically more of a moon-based entity. That's why he rejects the sun. That's why he has some of the vampiric traits. I didn't want to do traditional vampires and be like, here's my vampire plus take of it all. But I did want to spice it up a little bit. And I think I did that. Also, Kieran's personality is literally just being tired. How old did I put him in his freaking lore? 100+ years old. Right. Okay, so his whole thing is that, like, once he hit 100, he stopped counting. You couldn't pay him to count, he doesn't care. And that's kind of the opposite of Mordecai. I hate how Kai's outfit turned out, but he basically got the same treatment. He's Moon God. I'm gonna change his outfit before the start of Artfight, so that's why I'm not really talking about him that much. If you want to know more, you can look at his Artfight profile. That's gonna be linked in the description. Okay, now here we go for the new characters, technically. I threw her in because after I did the little character sketch of her after the last video, I went, yes, more. So that's essentially what I did, and you will see me restart about halfway through before I end up just coloring the first part that I did, and then I end up with her design. I really like how her design came out. I know I asked for critique and I didn't take fucking any of it, but I do like how it came out in the end. I did give her pants. I gave her pants, I broke. I didn't really want to give her pants, I just wanted her to have a dress, but pants are good. And I ended up naming her Naheka. And she's also with the Lovek Guild. The Lovek Guild is getting a lot of love this video, which is kind of crazy. These spade paints are so long. I don't know why I took 30 years to make all of these, but also no time at all. But, yeah, Naheka is very young. She's like late teens, early 20s. She's just a little baby. But she's now a solo adventurer, and she's thrown out into the great wide world. Naheka is also very heavily scarred because of the monsters she fights. She fights those big, massive snake things. From the last video, I'll flash them up on the screen so you can see. And I also gave her a tattoo. It's of a bird. She really likes birds. That's important for you to know, is that Naheka really likes birds. Her haircut is fucked, and I love it so much. And she's insecure about her heterochromia, and that's why she hides it. Just so you know. This is the last one I'm putting into this video because I'm not gonna, I did do a sheet for my Sona, but I'm not gonna put her in this video. You might see her, you might not, who knows. Last but not least is gonna be Smirch. I did a quick little sketch doodle of him, again, last video. You'll see. It's fugly. I love it. It has a lot of personality. I think the quality is good. I think the design is kind of bad. I made him more put together and more Indian inspired with at least how his clothing is shaped. I am still a simple style girly. Smirch as a character, it's not his real name. I haven't decided on what his real name is gonna be yet because I want it to mean a lot, but he's basically given up what his real name is at the point in the story where you see him. He really just views himself as like a middleman, he really just views himself as a middleman, as like a weapons dealer, supplier of random objects. Kinda anything he can get his hands on, he'll sell. And that's gonna change throughout his little mini arc as he finds someone he wants to change for. And he really wants to, like, you know, actually be a person and have hobbies and stuff. And then that'll eventually bloom into a romance between them, and then he'll get married, and then he'll accept his real name, at least in his personal life. Being called Smirch in his work life is probably for the best, because he does deal with some unsavory characters some of the time. A lot of the people he deals with are like Fenworth, where they're weird, but they mean well. And they'll sell him stuff and buy his stuff. And that's really all he cares about. He doesn't care how weird people are. Smirch is also one of my faves because of how he's connected with Brunhild. You might have noticed a theme throughout this whole speed paint that, you know, all of these characters are from the same world of Wisteria that I've been building up in a couple of my videos. And that's because I'm thinking about working on the comic over my summer break from college. I'm gonna try, and at least it's not gonna be the most polished thing or like the best looking thing, but I'm gonna make a little doodle comic as, like, you know, a cute little practice. Alright guys, have a good one. This is an awkward outro. Like, subscribe, comment, question mark. How do people fucking end videos? Oh my god.